Thanks for clicking on this video. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon and turn on all notifications to keep up to date with the latest information and discussions. Nappa's gotta roll with the punches, and I'm not just talking about in terms of battle. Hey guys, MasakoX here. It's 2019 and it's about time to start its entries for our favourite Vegeta sidekick, and we all know who that is. The momentum for this tale is going pretty strong, and it's about time to check in after the Christmas break to see where things are going right now after the Resurrection F arc of this particular what if story. And that is of course talking about the other sidekick of Vegeta, not just the Raditz one that we all want more episodes and R&R and stuff like yeah, it's Nappa, we're doing Nappa, what if he turned good. We've been going for about 10 parts now, and the tale about Nappa joining the Z Fighters and rising his way up the ranks, not just surviving, but actually finding a personality outside of taking care of Prince Vegeta. Despite the age gap that he has between the Prince and the rest of the crew, he's been able to hold his own and actually show unique powers of his own, diversifying himself from the rest of the group. He's not just another Saiyan. It's actually really helped his character, so by the time we get to the Universe 6 arc of Dragon Ball Super, Nappa has a pretty good life for himself. The former Son family bodyguard has a much more independent streak about him. He not only embraces training despite his reservations about his age, he also tends to the gardening that he oh so loves that came about raising Cybermen. He actually has a couple of gardens on the go. Not just the one at the Son family residence, but now a little allotment in West City, not too far from Capsule Corp, which is actually sponsored by the company because Bulma, she does love helping the environment, and this is very good PR for the company. In the last part of the story, we had a tussle between True Golden Freezer and King Cold, which looked like a genuinely threatening battle, which could have easily been one-sided in the Galactic Emperor's favor. What helped Nappa be able to cope throughout all of this is the sight of Goten going Super Saiyan Rage, and this really assured him, as well as I think Goku as well, that the future of the Z Fighters was pretty safe with Gohan and Goten at the helm. He's really proud of the two nephews that he has that are basically the sons that he never had or probably ever have at this rate. He's come to terms with that. Sometime after the climactic battle between True Golden Freezer and King Cold, the Saiyans are currently training with Whis and Beerus, well, mostly Whis for obvious reasons. Vegeta still isn't quite at the level to really master God Ki, but at this point in terms of his strength, he's at least allowed to watch it and try and get an understanding of it. And this is very, very accommodating despite all the shenanigans that Vegeta had been up to in the last couple of parts. So long as Vegeta is providing a very good source of food and snacks for everybody, particularly the God of Destruction, he will be able to stay there and get some notes down. According to the Prince, this is very unfitting behaviour, him having to serve the likes of Beerus and Whis, but at the same time, he's really grateful about the fact that Beerus didn't just destroy him after him basically putting the universe in jeopardy. Yeah, having to do some food runs is a very, very, very light punishment. During the Great Training Session, which also sees the weighted clothing that looks like a sumo wrestler being used, Champa and Vados make themselves known and basically create an entrance. Whis introduces them to the group with very much a calm attitude, which confuses Nappa, and as it becomes clear that they're from a different universe, it blows Nappa's mind and confuses him quite thoroughly. If it hasn't got anything to do with gardening or fighting, Nappa kinda gets confused easily.
Wait, you mean there are multiple universes? What?
These Universe 7 Saiyans are big lummoxes in comparison to our Saiyans.
Oh, this is great. Beerus is really putting on an absolutely wonderful show.
And despite Nappa's much more laid-back attitude these days, he can still get riled up if he's called into question about anything to do with his personality. But Whis is able to calm him down, having been aware of Nappa's temper. He just says that Champa is nothing but a big troll, something that Vados confirms with a very sly wink. We then get the argy-bargy between Beerus and Champa, the tournament being put in place, and the Saiyans having to figure out some kind of roster. But I think in this timeline, trying to find representatives for Universe 7 is pretty open and shut. We've got Goku, Vegeta, Goten, Gohan, and Nappa. Easy. They don't have to try and find anyone else. There's no worries about Majin Buu or Piccolo or anything to do with conferences. You know, all of that's gone. Yeah, I'm glad about the conference thing. As Goku and Vegeta decide to get some last minute training in the Room of Spirit and Time, Nappa decides to spend his time concentrating and relaxing in the Garden of West City. He's trying to process just all the stuff that he's taken in. Not only are there multiple universes out there, but there are more Saiyans, and they're successful Saiyans too. This is all just so new to him. While he's zoning out, he looks up for a moment and then spots somebody at the corner of the fence overlooking the garden. A woman with turquoise hair in her early 50s is busy drawing something whilst looking up and down again at the garden, as if she's drawing something. As this is going on, Nappa is just staring at her, and when she then looks up, the two eyes meet and then quickly look away again, as if they were just really shy school children. The woman then speaks up saying, I like your garden.
Oh, thank you. Say, what are you drawing?
Oh, nothing. It's just some doodles, nothing special. Nappa then bounds over to the lady, with the lady recoiling a little bit, having not realised how tall Nappa is, basically nearly 8 feet tall. However, she doesn't retreat or run away, sensing that Nappa isn't really a bad guy, and it's confirmed by what he says next.
Whoa, this is really good. Are you an artist or something?
Having seen the woman up close, Nappa begins to think his cogs are whirring. He's seen this woman before, not just once or twice, but a lot. Wishing to continue the conversation, Nappa then chirps up.
Hi, the name's Nappa. Oh, what's yours?
The woman blushes a little bit before reasserting her confidence. She is Cafei, a local painter who has been really in the doldrums as of late, trying to find inspiration for her artwork, and then stumbled upon Nappa's garden, which was just so unexpected in this area, and has been basically doodling and drawing and making other types of artwork for like months now.
Nice to meet you, Cafei. Say, you want to get a drink sometime? I like a local cafe.
Nappa then immediately regrets making this pun. Cafei just rolls her eyes and says, oh, like I haven't heard that one before. Well, yeah, I'd like that. Nappa then bends down and picks up a flower from the patch right next to the fence.
Here, more inspiration for you, Cafei.
Cafei is surprised, but then thanks Nappa for the gesture, taking the flower and promising to take care of it before they say goodbye. She promises to come back tomorrow so that means they can get a drink. Nappa is just left standing there as she walks off, with a slight spring in her step.
Wait. Is this one of those date things?
Meanwhile, Bulma and Bra are designing a Super Dragon radar to try and find the Super Dragon Balls that they now just found out about from Goku and Vegeta and the rest. They like a challenge, and this is a perfect time for some mother-daughter bonding. Going back to the Room of Spirit in Time for a moment, Goku did offer to Nappa to join them, but Nappa declined, thinking that all of this intense training would just make him age faster. He just worries about that, and he just decides to decline, just deciding to train the normal way. And throughout all of this, I think the biggest difference in this arc is that due to the fact that they have enough Saiyans to fit the bill, Beerus wouldn't have the need to try and find someone to make Goku get even stronger. He's got plenty of motivation, and thusly, Monaka is not brought in because Beerus doesn't need a mascot character. He is then congratulating himself, saying,
Ah, yes, this is going to make things so much easier. I mean, I was going to create so much stress for myself, I almost wouldn't be able to sleep a wink.
When Goku and Vegeta exit the chamber, they have their signature beards, which I think in this continuity, Vegeta wouldn't shave off. This is in order to assert his newfound power and that he's a different person. Now normally, Nappa would make fun of Vegeta because he knew that he wouldn't get any kind of repercussion, but this time he decides to actually be nice to Vegeta and say,
Ah, Jade, you look so much like your father now.
I mean, it's a bit weird, and even Vegeta's thinking,
what? That's weird. Nappa usually would make fun of me. What's going on?
Well, I can tell you what's going on. Nappa's got a spring in his step because he's got a date. Goku then decides to be rather aloof in terms of all the strength that Vegeta was able to gain, deciding to keep his cards close to his chest. The Saiyan squad are then taken to the nameless planet in order to complete the entrance exam for the Universe 6 tournament. Gohan and Goten pass this with flying colours, not really seeing this as much of a problem. But the rest of the Saiyans need a little bit more time, especially with Goku and Nappa barely passing at all. After the exam, they meet up with Kaaba, the Saiyan of Universe 6, and begin to exchange information about this new Saiyan race, and were really thrilled to hear that this Saiyan race is absolutely successful, and the likes of Frieza or anything like that didn't really pose a threat at all. But at the same time, Vegeta can sense that Kaaba has got a lot of bravado going on, because, quite clearly, It takes one to know one, eh, Jeets? The first fight in the tournament is between Goten and Botamo. Goten quickly realizes that in terms of pure strength, he's not going to win against Botamo, and decides to suss out the big Winnie the Pooh bear in the similar way that his father did in the original story. Up in the stands, Goku is nodding his head thinking, yeah, this is it, Goten's getting it, this is exactly what I would do. Goten hatches the plan and it works pretty well, knocking Botamo out relatively easily. I mean, Goten didn't even have to go Super Saiyan. Goten wins and then is about to face Frost. Goten is pretty emboldened to fight Frost, given the similar appearance to Frieza and King Cold, who he fought not that long ago. Having said that though, Goten remains a little bit uneasy, and this is perpetuated due to the fact of Frost's good nature, or seemingly good nature. This nice personality coming out of such a nefarious looking person, it's just throwing Goten off all the time. And because of all of this confusion and him having to deal with all of this going on at the same time, he falls foul of Frost's tactics and he is left poisoned, unable to compete. He has lost. The next fight is between Vegeta and Frost, and this fight is a lot more even this time because Vegeta isn't as strong as he is in the original. The trickster attempts to use his poison needles like he did with Goten, but Vegeta immediately sees what he's up to because remember, Vegeta may not be as powerful, but he's incredibly smart when it comes to battles. He spots the needles in time and delivers the knockout blow, and also calls out Frost for his nefarious behavior, which the referee confirms Frost is disqualified and Goten is reinstated and he can come back in and fight later. The next fight is between the Prince and Vegeta, and unlike the time in the original story, Vegeta isn't able to keep up with Vegeta. All of the tactics of heating out and sweating out the opponent, yeah, Vegeta kind of can't keep up with that. Gohan then steps up to fight against Vegeta, and he's not that worried about Vegeta's tactic of being in a contained space and actually then being sweated out. In fact, he allows Vegeta to turn up the heat even more. The structure of his body won't be able to keep up with all of that heat in such a confined space. His structure will fail. Gohan then decides to fly fast round and round and round Vegeta, not to try and make him feel dizzy or trying to look cool or anything, it's to make Gohan feel cool. And not in terms of social stuff, but to make him just come down in terms of temperature. With Vegeta confused, his body failing, this makes him vulnerable to Gohan's attack. And then ultimately, Gohan gets the victory. Sadly though, Gohan feels like he's unable to continue properly because all of the heat exhaustion has meant that he's really not got that much strength left to keep up with the next fight, so he decides to give the reins to Nappa, so that means he can throw around some punches. He deserves it. Much like Vegeta in the original, Nappa then decides to coach Kaaba in the form of Super Saiyan, trying to get it out of the young boy, and he's able to do so successfully by patronizing the young boy using similar tactics that Gohan finds rather close to home, something that Nappa was doing back in the day when Gohan was a tempestuous teenager. It works and Kaaba turns into a Super Saiyan, but it's no match against Nappa. He loses to Nappa, but thanks him for unlocking some new kind of potential, and they promise to fight each other again. With Nappa feeling very satisfied with himself, having gained a new pupil, he then goes up against Hit. And I feel like it wouldn't be as open and shut as it was with Vegeta. I think that Nappa would be able to actually hold his own for a little bit against Hit, with the Berserker form and all that, making him a little bit more unpredictable. But still, this is Hit we're talking about here. The time skip ability at this point is unbeatable. Goku and Goten are worried, having seen how easily Hit was able to take out Nappa, and with Vegeta now out of the count completely, it's up to them to really make sure that Universe 7 wins. It's not as easy as it was just a couple of minutes ago. This tournament has now become pretty serious, and I think that's where we're going to leave things for right now. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Nappa will find love? Do you think he will actually be able to hold his own after the revelation of Hit? Leave a comment below, and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. Catch you later!